architecture is really based on traditions of architecture, which means that even though the architecture is a very scientific field and requires a lot of knowledge of the world, it's also an artistic field, it's a cultural field. It's one of the liberal arts, or maybe the memory that architecture represents is the mother of all the arts, because architecture combines, as you say, philosophy, literature, art, music, astronomy, geometry, poetry. So that's how I understand architecture to be. Even in a technological age, architecture still has to relate to the human heart and to the human person. And that's what makes a city like Kraków such a beautiful city, because it is based on human imagination. It's not just technologically advanced of its time with bricks, with arches, and with the amazing architecture of the churches, but it is also spiritual. And that's what architecture is. It represents the spirit of a nation, a spirit of people, a spirit of a human being. And that's really what I was trying to say by illustrating just a few projects that I took out of my portfolio. I think the Polish Foundation did a wonderful task to take me to places that I've not seen before. In Żory, the Museum of Fire by young generation architects was very impressive, to create new architecture with imagination and strength. The same was true when I went to the waste treatment plant in Kraków, such a large and impressive building that shows that Poland is really moving forward technologically and architecturally in every way. I was very impressed. I saw Wieliczka at the age of 7, so many years ago, but it left an indelible mark in my mind and in my heart, because I've been inspired by Wieliczka in my whole life, and probably as an architect, I've also been inspired by the amazing beauty and sacredness that the mind really represents, not only architecturally, but culturally. So Wieliczka has been a very much part of my life throughout my life, not just on this visit.
Our home is something really important to think about it, because we never choose our home. We never chose where we were born. We never even chose our parents, but we are born somewhere and we are destined with that sense to return home.
I met many interesting young people, young architects, young artists, young people who are just moving into the world. And I was asked many interesting questions about the work and how to do things and what the process is. And I simply encourage them, because I know that this generation has amazing abilities, and I'm sure that this generation will produce remarkable works, not only for Poland, but in the world.
Polish culture has been part of my being. I read Polish much better than I speak it, because I used to speak it very well, but I don't have too much occasion now that my parents are not around. But I read Polish literature, of course Polish music, Polish poetry, Polish art, Polish architecture has been very dominant in my experience. And maybe at the end, my work is not just Jewish, but it's Polish.
You know, who am I to give advice? You know, I'm not wise enough to give advice to young people, but if I was to say something, I would say, you know, use your imagination. Don't just believe in things that you've been told. Examine them for yourself, and most importantly, follow your dreams. and not only follow your dreams, but take the risks that are worthwhile, and you will never regret taking those risks. If you have integrity, if you are not pulled to the right or to the left, if you stay true to your path, these young people will succeed in whatever they dream about.
That memory is the ground of architecture. It's not just the soil, but the memory, which is lodged in places we can hardly see, which is not often visible and not often audible, is really the ground on which we build. And I think buildings that are rooted in memory, and we know them because we love those buildings, are the truly sustainable buildings. Thank you very much.